everyone, and welcome back to Color the Magic and my frequency writer messages and musings. I'm Marie Mohler, and I'm an author, creative spirit, and a messenger of living a rich, inspired, authentic, and abundant life as a divine creative hero. And here we are on the cusp of May 2025. There's a lot of energies. There's a potency, a special ascension potency to the energies right now. The themes I'm going to be focused on today in these messages are the shakings of old 3D structures, systems, and serpentine strongholds, digging deeper and releasing old 3D tether wounds and traumas, remembering and reclaiming our quantum creativity and our timeless divine creative heroes within, and rising, gathering, and returning to the frequencies in the garden. It's a time to stay inspired. That is like a special protection. It's a special and sacred life force. There's so much to our creative abilities and our quantum creativity. There is a life force, an engine, a frequency of prana and energy in that for all of us, while we're also navigating so many shifts on the planet and also upgrades to our very DNA and our energy fields and our toroidal fields and even our soul missions and so much more. So I want to thank you for joining me today in these messages and musings for May 2025. I want to reiterate that these messages that I share are for educational purposes only. And so I invite you to take the best and leave the rest. And without further ado, let's take a deeper dive into the big picture review. And so here we are in May 2025. I see many invitations finding each of us, right? So firstly, I think May 2025 invites us to reconnect, reclaim, and gather in the garden. We're going to talk more about that today. As many of you know who've listened to my channel for a long time, I stopped my practice and process of channeling in the way that I have for many, many years now, since the early 2000s. I stopped that in the last year or two and have been in this transition phase as I'm listening for how my soul skills want to express in this new dimensional realm of the new earth, or really the Garden of Eden's return. That's the way I'm really feeling the garden. The new earth is the original garden frequencies, the original garden, the true timeline of God, right? And so as I personally have been listening to the changes, the cues of the changes that I feel happening inside me and in my own life, I've been tweaking things on the messages that I also create for you. And so, number one, I'm wondering if you're feeling those cues and tweaks going on in your own life and how that's showing up for you. I wonder if you're tapped into that. Are you having a sense of something you've been doing a certain way for a long time is changing? And sometimes in ascension times like these, we don't always know where that change is leading us. When I felt the change that I was going to be changing what I was doing and how I was doing it, I didn't have a clear picture on where this was headed, right? How those changes would manifest. But I listened to the changes. I acknowledged them. And in the last year, I knew that I was going to I needed to stop doing it the way that I had been doing it so that I could make room for the newness that wanted to come through me. And so with that said, as May 2025 invites us to reconnect, reclaim, and gather in the garden, there's many ways that that's manifesting for each of us. And for me, it's asking for kind of this alchemical process, this new way of utilizing and expressing my gifts. And a lot of that has involved wanting to integrate all of those guides, that spiritual guidance that was coming through from the Arcturian Collective and Mother Mary and Mother Earth, Gaia herself, and El Moria, and so many beautiful guides over the years. They're a part of me. They're a part of me in the oneness of God, right? And so the transition I know I've been making is to speak as me, as wholeness inside myself, as my myself integrating with my higher self, and also with that entire team of divine guidance. And I have a message prepared for you today. It's just a short message, but I think it's seeding more of the topics that I'm going to be speaking about in the coming months that also have a lot to do with the foundations for my musical and also the hero's journey that I'm templating. We're going to talk more about those things. So that's just a little bit about me and what's changing in my world and with my skills and with my soul mission. I can feel this, my toroidal field is getting more aligned with the new frequencies of the garden's return. And for me specifically, that means also that I'm going to be bringing forward messages about the garden. And then I would ask you, are you feeling this subtle or not so subtle tweaking of your skills, your passions, your abilities, how you're showing up in the world and called to express yourself and participate in the transitions unfolding? So that's my topic number 1 for May 2025 and the first invitation. Invitation number 2 for May 2025, this entire month of May may shake up more world structures, systems, and serpentine strongholds of the old 3D paradigm, inviting us to let go of that which no longer serves us or humanity. And I think more and more that's those two things go together in anything we're considering or being called to invest our time and energy and frequencies in, right? It needs to be in the highest good for us as individuals, maybe for highest good for us as individuals and our families, and then highest good for us as individuals, our families, and humanity as a collective whole, right? It needs to be that win-win or that win-win-win frequency. But in terms of the second invitation that I wanted to spotlight, many of you are feeling it. People really would have to be under some serious rocks in their own lives if they weren't aware that so much is changing at not just a fundamental level, but truly like a divine foundational level. For people who've listened to my channel for many years, I would speak about the fact that anything that was created on a serpent foundation would be crumbling. We've witnessed this certainly since 2020, but I think obviously there were signs even before then. And for many people paying attention and really being conscious in their journeys, they may have seen it coming for decades. But there's been this accelerant in the last few years, certainly since we turned the corner into the decade of the 2020s. And so we are seeing more and more here now in 2025 at the midpoint of this ascension decade, this ascension decade of massive, extraordinary, and epic change. Anything founded in those serpentine foundations are being shaken. They are crumbling, right? There are cracks in those foundations and they can't patch the cracks anymore. They can't cover it up. They can't distract enough. They can't propagandize enough to cover up the fact that anything truly founded on the principles of serpentine manipulations, the serpent's games and gimmicks and tricks of this whole 3D matrix of deception and hall of mirrors of illusions, that's all cracking and crumbling. And so we're experiencing that. And some of those systems are being reset, reoriented. The assets used for good, so dark to light, kind of transformational frequencies, right? But even if it is dark to light, we're still feeling those changes. We are experiencing it because we're all interconnected and we're all aware of the systems that have made the world go round and round on this time loop in the 3D matrix. But that merry-go-round, that time loop, isn't really what's meant for divine souls. So what's happening in this invitation I'm spotlighting, where we're called to let go of the things that no longer serve us or humanity. That means both us and humanity, right? I really should have said. So as we're seeing us personally let go of some of those things, we're also seeing the collective having to let go of those things. And all is going to be cleared away that have serpentine origins. Okay, so with that said, the invitation number 3 for May 2025. This month invites us to dive deeper into the inner places inside us where we still carry old wounds, traumas, and fear programs so that we can truly release, clear, and cleanse them for all time. And I would add, in all directions of time. That is a profound clearing. That is a profound cleansing. I think many of us are called to take a look at those deeper wounds. And for many of you listening, I don't think I probably even have to point this out. I bet you're experiencing this since the first of the year, especially and very intensely. I was called into some experiences that I never thought I would be having, all while I was also pretty sick with a not nice virus. I don't know any virus that is nice, but this one was particularly grouchy and took a lot of energy to transcend and to come through. While that was happening, I was also facing a kind of compounded, multi-layered experience of wounds in my life. And so I would say that January and February was very life-changing for me. It really shifted the axis on which I was engaging my life and my abilities and my energetic and frequency investments, if you will. And I really had to allow myself the time to pause in everything that had been moving quantumly forward and get into some stillness so I could feel some wounds that are coming up, so that I could feel the old traumas, memories that I'd forgotten, and attachments I had to some of those wounds and traumas and fear programs. And take a look at that and listen for what the messages are and what was I holding in my physical body. My body was really expressing a lot of those energies that were very uncomfortable. So I really believe that 2025 is inviting us into that deeper dive into these inner places inside us. I wonder if you've had some of those experiences. I don't think anybody's immune to those invitations to go deeper, to dig deeper into the layers that are holding us back. And I still am working through some of those layers, but at least I'm more conscious of them now. And in no way am I shoving them under the rug. And when I feel them, when I can, I stop and I pause and I have a conversation with myself and I listen. And then I'm really deeply listening about what do those wounds need to clear them out, right? And that may take a while for some of the deepest wounds and traumas, the things we really haven't wanted to see. But if we're in this timeline of the shakeups and we're also in the timeline of returning to the garden, right? The original timeline, the original creation of God, like the God timeline, it means that these old wounds and traumas need to kind of be broken up and shaken up too. Not just the serpent's matrix is being shaken up, but where has this serpent gripped us and tethered us to this realm through our wounds and attachments and fear programs? That's also coming up. And it's not fun. It's not the fun and flashy work in the hero's journey in the ascension times. We want to think it's all light and love and cooperation and beauty returning to the world in ways that are bringing heaven to the earth. A lot of this work of the digging deeper, it isn't fun, and but it's necessary. It is vital to our personal liberation and our quantum divine expressions, our self-expressions, so that we're liberating our truest talents. We're opening up that throat chakra. We're opening up that entire chakra pillar from the Earth Star chakra to the Soul Star chakra and all the chakras in between. We are freeing ourselves from ourselves. And that means that especially in 2025, this pivotal year at the midpoint of the Ascension decade, and now as we move into May 2025, this is ongoing work. We are allowing these layers of pain and suffering and wounds and trauma inside us to be known to us again so we can meet their needs and help them to heal and cleanse, and we can feel better about ourselves because we're willing and strong enough now to see them, because the desire to return to the garden is greater than the desire to cover up and mask those lower density vibrations inside ourselves. Okay. And the last invitation, at least for this big picture review today, for May 2025, is that this month is calling to our divine creative hero within us to more fully awaken from any lingering sleepiness or slumber or amnesia in the little pockets we may still have within the 3D matrix, and to step up and embrace true freedom and self-expression as we liberate our creativity, sovereignty, liberty, and prosperity now in these times. We are made for so much more. And that moreness of our true abilities and cosmic Christed light is calling us to rise and to radiate the original frequencies of the garden that live in our divine DNA and have been within us all this time. And that garden, that beautiful, pristine, gorgeous, heavenly garden of Eden, the original timeline and creation of God, is here now, inside us. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, anyway, it's spring, and we have had the most glorious spring. I know there have been storms in many places around the globe, and certainly in the United States, and even where I live, there have been storms. But I have also noticed something else is happening. The air feels clearer to me. The sun is shining brighter somehow. Things of that nature, the light codes, I guess is what I'm talking about, are more accessible to me. And nature is like singing a sweet song. When I'm outside and I'm leaving an audio message for some of my friends that I'm about to send in a text message, I'm in awe when I listen back to it sometimes and I hear all the birds and nature chirping and singing their songs, right? Their soul songs. The whole forest around me is alive with those frequencies, the deer, the squirrels, the geckos, the lizards, all of it, the chameleons. And of course, my own little menagerie of furry family members. So I feel like there is an aliveness springing forth in the spring in the Northern Hemisphere. I know it's different in the Southern Hemisphere, but I just want to point out anybody can tap into this birthing, this new birthing that's unfolding, that's birthing the garden in a whole new frequency, because Mother Earth and Mother Father God's sacred divine children, through the Adam and Eve archetypal energies, whether they are literal beings or they are archetypal parents for all of us, we can trace our origins, every single one of us, back to the garden. And there is an aliveness birthing in exponential waves of light that is a direct match to the shakeups, to the serpents, strongholds, and 3D structures and systems that have never served this world, but are really being dematerialized and are releasing from this planet in all directions of time. We're going to talk about that today. So I usually share some Dr. Terry insights on the first slide in the big picture review, and I decided that Dr. Terry and her insights needed their own slide, and I've got a few quotes from her today. So yes, I have several quotes we're going to be reviewing from her book still. I'm working through Dare to Be Great. Her book, she has about 8 books, and you can look those up, but there isn't a literary work of Dr. Terry that doesn't have its own brilliant merit. And each title can probably tell you if that book is meant for you. Like a lot of people resonate with the "What You Think of Me Is None of My Business." Oh my God, that is a classic. That is so classic of Terry's brilliance. And it speaks to souls now, and it has spoken to people through the decades. So anyway, I just wanted to spotlight that I'm going to share some quotes from her book, Dare to Be Great. And I really wanted to spotlight Terry's energy because I think she is still teaching us in the life that she lived, and how she showed us and how she shared with us the world, of the gems of her journeys from this lifetime and others. And for those that don't know, I'm talking about Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker, and she passed away in October of 2024. But her teachings, her energy, her love, her inspiration, her passion as a spiritual seeker is still very much here. And I feel like while I can't just call her up on the phone or be on Zoom and do a podcast together like I once did, I'm in conversation with Terry regularly. And of course, one of the ways I do that is just reading her books and, but also spending time with her YouTube videos where she has inspired many people, and she still inspires all of us in our collective humanity to be the true divine essence of our brilliant spirit, soul, essence, and presence in our lives every day. And I've really been reflecting a lot of some of my favorite memories with Terry and the things that just will make me burst out laughing just at how authentic and how she was just absolutely the expression of her authentic self. So in the past month, I have spoken about Terry with friends, or I felt Terry with me a lot. I definitely feel Terry is with me, supporting my work. And I also feel her, sharing inspirations for what things to bring into these conversations with you. So I feel like I'm in pretty regular communication with Terry. And one of the things I found myself reflecting on is how Terry lived life. She inspired us to live, to embrace life, to embrace who we are, to not apologize for who we are, right? And how about that again? What you think of me is none of my business. And I think she even has a video I might have mentioned. I think she's like, what you think of you is none of your business. Some of these things are so classic Terry, the best of Terry Cole Whitaker. And when you really listen to her teach that, I think that she has a whole video on that. What you think of you is none of your business. She was helping us to get beyond our human egoic selves, right? And to really tap into our divine essence that is timeless, eternal, infinite, that can never die, that has been with us since Source created all of us, right? And our eternal essence and nature. So she was always been inviting us to embrace who we are and to live our amazing soul essence in all that we do. So to me, Terry celebrated life. She embodied the living of life in extraordinary ways. Her stories of recovering from a brown recluse spider bite, some of you might remember that, or levitating to spare herself a potentially lethal fall in a sacred site where the stairs were steep, stone stairs, and very narrow. She told that story, I think, a number of times in some of our podcasts. Incredible. Or being shot in the leg when she was just like a little girl with one of her friends. They were playing around with I don't think it was just a BB gun. I can't remember. But anyway, whatever that shot was that fired off, it ricocheted off a fence post and went through Terry's leg. I mean, she traveled to India and learned from her guru. There are so many stories of Terry that live on through her YouTube channel and her books and the podcast that we did together, and through just the people who know her and knew her, and whose lives that she touched. And I'm just so grateful that her divine spark touched mine and ignited mine. And I'm so grateful for the feeling I have whenever I feel Terry. I just can't help but have a smile on my face for the brilliant soul that she is and will continue to be, of course. And for her amazing divine spark that touched yours, right? For those that have followed my channel and listened to the podcast that we did. So, and for those that aren't familiar with Dr. Terry, you can find our podcast that she and I did together on my Color the Magic YouTube channel. You can also find them on my Substack account. And I have one last podcast that Dr. Terry and I did. I may have mentioned it, but I still haven't had the time to just put it all together and publish it. But we did that last podcast last year that was never published, not yet anyway, before her unexpected passing. And I am going to be sharing our last conversation that we had this month in May. So keep an eye out for those pearls of wisdom. And I just want to send a lot of love and appreciation and gratitude to you, Terry, for all that you gave and all that you still give in your books, your videos, and through the new videos that your partner, Michael, is still posting on your YouTube channel. I feel as though I have new visits with Terry all the time because Michael's posting new videos that they did for many, many years together. they were beautiful co-creative partners in that way. And I'm so grateful that he is still sharing those. And you catch little glimpses of Michael in the videos now, which is wonderful. And that the creative spirit of how they connected and they worked together. And it's just so amazing. So I feel as if I have visits with Terry all the time, ongoingly, in the amazing living messages that you, Terry, have given to us all. You taught us that prosperity means moving forward with enthusiasm. And that illustrates the light you came to shine during these powerful ascension times. So thank you, Terry, for teaching us about life, about prosperity, about creativity, about love and joy and following your passions and expressing your creativity and being a seeker of truth and all of those brilliant frequencies, and how when you sum all of that up, how you taught us how to live them, how to live them. So I'm so grateful for Dr. Terry. I hope just this little review of Dr. Terry's work and who she is and who she has been in my life and continues to be inspires you to go check out her work. Okay, and so I have 3 quotes from Dr. Terry today that taken from her book, Dare to Be Great. The first one, she was talking about how she attended church, as a child a little bit, and as a teen. I think she was struggling to find God in her experience of church. And in that seeking process, she was calling out to God and saying, I'm looking for you. I can't find you. You need to find me. And as she was going through this questioning process, she says, one day my question would be answered when ancient sacred knowledge was given to me that stated, God is unlimited and every person is unique. Therefore, God offers a special path for every person to learn about Him and engage in the relationship that best suits his or her particular personality, understanding, and interests. For now, I was on a quest that made me seek answers, not within the walls of any particular church, but within me. I think that is a brilliant description of what many on the spiritual path, who are on the path of seeking truth and knowledge and seeking to know our light and seeking union with God again. When we're seeking the path back to the garden, basically, we realize it's not outside of ourselves, it's inside us. That anchored in a very deep seeking and questing process for Terry, for sure, where she went inward and she started to cultivate that connection with God, and her messages became richer and richer as a result. Quote number 2, she talks about change for the better happens rapidly when there are both inner and outer changes in alignment with one's dreams and wishes. Again, many on the path who know about manifesting and vision boards and, intentionally creating change for the better in our lives. But it's a good reminder that both of our inner and our outer changes need to be in alignment with our dreams and our wishes. Okay, and then this third quote, also from Dare to Be Great. The top quote is from Dare to Be Great. Ideas, thoughts, and feelings take form in matter. Therefore, if you want something to take place in the outer tangible world, you must first have the mental counterpart as the blueprint for the desired finished product. She goes into greater detail about this in her book, Dare to Be Great. So I encourage all of you to check that out. But she was an early teacher, at least in the last century, of really seeding that concept that a lot of people had forgotten on the planet, that our ideas, our thoughts, our feelings take form in matter, right? Our words, our commands, they take form in matter. So if we want something to take place in the outer tangible world, right? If we want it to manifest, we have to first have the mental counterpart as the blueprint for the desired finished product. And that means knowing without distraction, without fear, without all the egos, what ifs and shoulds, and all the other things that can interfere with templating that perfect blueprint in the mental counterpart she's talking about that lays the foundation and the seeds for ideas, thoughts, and feelings that form the matter we're saying we desire. If all these discordant, other distracting feelings and things that take us into our fear programs and traumas entangle into our visioning process, people who are unaware of this have no idea, and that's why often we see a mixture of good and bad manifesting for others or maybe ourselves. All that is a clue that we need to be less distracted, we need to get more focused, and we need to see through the heart of a child, right? The eyes of a child, just knowing that it just is. It already is. We feel it, smell it, taste it, know it, think it. And I'm not including believe in it, but maybe say have faith in it and just keep stepping into it as that creationary hero, as that divine creative hero. I'm doing my best to shift my language away from language of belief because I think that's all part of the 3D matrix's trap. Belief helps us to get comfortable that we think we're doing the work, when I think belief still turns our power over to other things, including other influences in our lives, even if it's in our own distracting thoughts and our own distracting emotions. So it's an inner job, this whole ascension process. It is inner work and it's an inner job, and it's something that's going to be ongoing for some time now. It's been going on for a while and we're still in it. And then I just wanted to add this reminder at the bottom of this slide and this quote from Terry that, as Dr. Terry said in several podcasts we did together, she would basically say, do the thing and the power is yours. Embody the thing and the power is yours. The thing you desire is yours. What you desire and dream about is yours. But she said a lot of times people get that backwards, right? They're seeking the power, they're, seeking something outside themselves. They forget to do the thing, meaning they don't do the inner work. And then that inner and outer world don't match. And if we have a mixture of discordant thoughts and feelings with dreamy and higher dimensional visions and thoughts and feelings, that's why we're seeing the results we are, or lack of results. And sometimes we may feel like we're spinning our wheels. This is a time to get really disciplined and not allow ourselves to get too distracted. We're aware of the things going on in the outer world, but that really isn't our world, our own. And that was another message that Terry had. You can find it on Substack. I think she has the article that she talked a lot about, was that we're taking over the world, our own. She was talking about, again, if everybody would focus on their own inner world and would be doing this ascension work, the inner job, the inner alchemy, basically, right? And we were disciplined enough to not think discordant thoughts, not allow the distracting thoughts and feelings and emotions and triggers, we would be living in a different world very quickly or instantly. So the more of us that can do the thing and know that the power is ours, the more of us that can form that mental counterpart and template and seed the blueprint for the garden of our dreams as the finished product, living it now, the more we are going to see the world around us change. And even if it's not changing quickly in the outer world, it can change in the very immediate world of your own inner circle, the ripples that you create in your life. So very, very powerful. I'm so grateful to Dr. Terry for all these messages she's given us and will continue to give us. I'll continue to review her messages. Okay, I wanted to give an update on the Divine Creative Hero and Heroine's Journey template that is well underway. I am deep in that process. I am amazed at what is pouring forth in me in the creative process. And it hasn't been just the list of the stages with some descriptors. No, it's a whole realm that I'm creating. And I didn't know that when I made my last video, because we can't yet know what our gifts are truly meant to be for until we begin the process. And just by beginning, I'm in awe of how much insight and information is coming through. So I was working on my musical, The Color of the Magic, which is also in process. And as I was getting into the details of my characters and my storyline and all of those things, I realized that the divine creative hero and heroine's journey needed to really be laid out in a much more detailed and rich and multidimensional, multi-layered way. So I'm deep in that process. and I just wanted to give you an update. It's coming. I hope to have more to share in the videos to come this year. But I would ask you then, what are you creating or templating that's new and that's in alignment with your divine creative hero's gifts, joy, and soul mission? Are you feeling things turn and shift, maybe shift by a degree or two, just a degree or two, but wow, that changes the whole trajectory. It may open wide your vision board in a bigger way than what you could have seen before, or it's clearer. Or you feel more aligned with it. And so it feels more actionable. It feels more doable. It feels more embodiable, right? So I invite you to marinate on that a little bit, what you are creating and templating that's new and that's in alignment. And how is it aligning? How are you feeling yourself getting more into divine alignment, in sync, right? That integration of all the light codes that are coming in. And how is that upgrading and up-leveling your mission, your abilities, and all of those things. So very, very exciting. I wanted to share that. I shared this before in the last video. I'm going to share it again. I am in the process of bringing over my Frequency Writer blogs, and that includes some videos from before. So check those out. I just posted, and I'll reference this later, I posted the song and the blog message about it, Dream Seeds. And so that is on my Substack. Some of these things won't be on Color the Magics. All the things that are going to be my hub and my core messages will definitely be on Substack. And then some of them will make it over to Color the Magic on YouTube. So check both places. Check both places if you're looking for inspiration. Okay, and with that said, this is the first video in a long time where I am bringing through and tapping into the higher frequencies that I know as a frequency writer I am meant to bring through. And I'm not speaking as a channel. I'm speaking as a divine creative hero. Not something outside myself, but something that is continuously integrating inside me. I feel like that's what's wanting to emerge, the things that I know and remember that I had seen in these external guides before as a channel, and now I'm seeing them as all part of me. So I'm going to play for you the video I made of the message that I brought through. I will share this video and actually the typed version, kind of like in the old style when I was channeling, so you can read the text and you can also listen to the video at the same time. So look for that coming on Substack after this whole video for May posts. I'll get that out soon. But this is the message for May 2025, and it's a new series of messages. I'm calling them the Garden Insights, and this is Garden Insight number 1. Here we gather in the garden, full of light, full of divine gnosis, full of divine remembrance. Eve is seeding our return. She is the divine feminine, the frequencies of the all-knowing heart, connected to infinite time and space, knowing us and all sentient life in all realms, just as the Great Mother and our divine creator source know us and all sentient life in all realms. May 2025 summons the divine creative heroes back home to who we truly are. We are the sons and daughters of Adam and Eve. We are the sons and daughters of God and the Great Mother. We are whole as expressions of their sacred essence. It's time to return to the garden. This is no ordinary garden. This is the garden from whom all blessings flow. In the garden, only intentions, creations, and brilliant innovations born of the light can ever grow. For this is a frequency garden. It is a light garden, and it is an eternal garden that knows only God's perfect divine blueprint growing in the fields of the Great Mother. The old 3D world age cycle and paradigm have long been coming to a close, and 2025 seeds new light for the path of the spiritual seeker, feeling an inward call to the light of divine gnosis, remembrance, creative expression, and celebration again. In the serpent's garden, the 3D matrix, the fields are drying up. They are parched, for they no longer carry the engine, sustenance, creative power, and stream of humanity's greatest fears. There may be acres and acres of previous serpent minion farmland, but nothing from those old seeds will ever grow again. The serpent's garden is infertile, and so it shall be in all directions of time. God's garden, the great mother herself, flourishes eternally, and it is the light and life-giving blessings of God and the great garden that is reseeding and resetting new life in a remembered, reclaimed, and resurrected Eden. May 2025 seeds new flowers and new ways of expressing humanity's expansive dreams on acres and acres of the Earth Mother's fertile soil. Dream seeds awaken in you and in me, and in awakening divine creative hero souls all over this great planet. As more rise to reclaim their inner light, their innate God spark, and the flowing waters and fields of light gifted to all by the Great Mother herself, humanity will see a new 5D risen earth emerge out of the shadows and into God's glorious light, front and center, once more. There is a call to creativity in your heart, in your soul. There is a call to creative expectations and manifestations flowing through your physical body temples. May 2025 is birthing creative life force to new heights. Will you be there to receive it? Will you be there to remember it? Will you allow in the embodiment of it? The new 5D Earth, which is the rising and risen original Garden of Eden, is seeking you. Remember this, that what you are seeking is seeking you too. You are a spark of the God heart. You are a seed of the original garden. You are a divine creative hero receiving Eve's invitation to come home to the garden. Will you answer the call? The garden awaits. Wow. Wow. That is such a beautiful message. I hadn't heard it all put together. And they're here to inspire that seeker. What we are seeking is seeking us too. The garden is seeking our return. That is what I see bursting forth, blooming forth in May and throughout the remainder of this decade is going to be this literal vibrational ascension process where we are through our consciousness, through the light frequencies inside us, the garden is calling us home. And we as conscious participants in those invitations can reclaim the garden inside ourselves. It's a frequency garden. It is a light garden. It is an eternal garden. And in there are the seeds of our perfect divine blueprints, our perfection that mirrors the perfection of the garden. And so we're seeing this grand reseeding and resetting of new life in a remembered and reclaimed and resurrected Eden, right? And I'm sharing this on the heels of obviously Easter, those energies of crucifixion and resurrection. For those that resonate with that, we're seeing the dying the crucifixion of the old 3D matrix, perhaps, and the resurrection of the original creation that was always within us, but our frequency dimmed down and became so dense that we didn't know that the garden was inside us all this time. And when I reference the garden, it means everything. It's creation, it's source, it's our creativity, it's the light that lives within all things, that leads all things, right? That leads creation in a divine creation. So seeding the garden is seeding and the awareness of living the embodiment of all that is, of God in form, right? Of Mother Earth, the Mother in form, as sons and daughters of Adam and Eve, or as the living Adams and Eves today who've had this robust experience in the treadmill of a 3D matrix. We have learned so much. And for many of us, we're tidying up. We're closing out those contracts with the serpent. We're closing out the contracts with that treadmill of karmic experience. And we're ready for the liberation of living in a divine creation, fully conscious of our participation in a divine creation, that we don't need a 3D matrix for the lessons it was attempting to teach us. We don't need the traumas and the suffering either. All of that is going to be left behind, and we're going to continue to feel like we are just home in the perfection and the light and the joy and the love of Source and the Great Mother. The garden is the mother, and Source flows through us in seeds of inspiration to seed the new garden, which means we are the artists, we're the architects, we're the teachers. We are the beings that are birthing the garden again in our lived experience. Terry was a great illustration of that. She was a leader and a teacher of that. And we are meant to be that too. We are meant to be the embodiers of this too. Okay, so I have a series of 10 soul songs. Many of you know I create these songs with the aid of AI. And so, yes, I'm sorry that a lot of the titles are very similar because a lot of what I was creating with the AI, a lot of the song titles sound similar. They're all about returning to the garden. The garden is our home. The garden awaits. So you'll see that reflected in the titles. But as you listen to the frequencies of each of the songs, it has a distinct message, and it's a beautiful playlist. You know, these 10 songs, when I share the compilation video, you'll be able to listen to this whole sequence. And I find it so inspiring. I can feel the heartbeat of the garden pulsing in me. And I'm inviting you, as you listen to that message, Garden Insights #1, and you really allow yourself to get into the frequency of the garden, to get into the frequency of your own divine creative hero, and hear that again reflected in these songs as we listen to each one. So the first song we're going to tune into now is Beyond the Horizon. Let's have a listen.
We are time travelers lost in the stream, chasing the echoes of our own dream, rounding the corner of space's embrace, finding a rhythm in time's fleeting race. We mastered illusion, we danced in the haze, wove through the fabric of infinite days. It's time to return to what is real, to what is whole, to what we feel. Through time we fly like whispers in rain. The pain of beauty of gain. Back to the sun where we started the flow. The circle completes in a soft golden glow. We mastered illusion, we danced in the haze, wove through the fabric of infinite days. It's time to return to what is real, to what is whole, to what we feel. The clock's gentle hum fades into a hush. Gone are the moments we scattered like dust. Find me where timeless light softly hums. The only way back is where we come from.
Such a beautiful song. I think it takes us into this deeper place of stillness, and in the stillness we can access remembrance of the garden. I love these particular lyrics mentioning time traveling, because those remembering the garden, those knowing that we incarnate again and again in a 3D matrix like this on a loop, right? We are time travelers. So I love these lyrics. We are time travelers lost in the stream, chasing the echoes of our own dream, rounding the corner of space's embrace, finding a rhythm in time's fleeting race. We mastered illusion, we danced in the haze, wove through the fabric of infinite days. It's time to return to what is real, to what is whole, to what we feel. It's our sentience that knows. That's the divine feminine within us. The divine feminine, it's the right brain. It's the aspect of us that can connect with infinite intelligence of all time and space. It's the divine feminine that knows our way home. Right? The masculine, the divine masculine may actually have a map or connect the dots that we see in our world around us, the structure. But the feminine is the formless. It's the sentience. It's the feeling. She is the knower of knowings. That's what this song sings about in Beyond the Horizon. We are the time travelers who've been lost in the stream. We are also those time travelers who have now mastered the illusion, danced in the haze, and we are returning to what is real. So powerful. Okay, the next song is called Inner Beacon. Let's have a listen.
When the earth begins to sway, we find our pace. Familiar roads disappear as we embrace a shift in time, a call to rise and face the winds of change with a boundless grace. Let the old drift gently out like fading tides. A world unseen now calls where truth resides. Step ahead, let the heart be your guide. For strength is born within where it hides. Oh, trust the light that shines so true. It burns inside, it's leading you through storms unknown, through skies command. Through the chaos flows a quiet song. A melody of hope keeps us strong. The world may shift, but we belong. In every change where we prolong. Oh, trust the light that shines so true. It burns inside, it's leading you. Through storms unknown, through skies so gray. It carves a path to a brighter day.
Wow, I love that song. I love the first stanza. I love the when the earth begins to sway, we find our pace. Familiar roads disappear as we embrace a shift in time, a call to rise and face the winds of change with boundless grace. And then the chorus, oh, trust the light that shines so true. It burns inside, it's leading you. Through storms unknown, through skies so gray, it carves a path to a brighter day. I truly believe in this inner beacon inside me, inside you, inside the best of humanity, right? We are all on a bit of an unfamiliar path. You know, yes, many of the galactic beings have supported other ascension times. Somehow this particular ascension times, because it's so multi-layered, it's so multi-dimensional, our ascension process here on the Earth planet, I believe, is affecting every single sentient life form in this entire universe. Somehow our ascension here is so impactful. And so, yes, while the path may seem less familiar, it may feel like I don't know where I'm going, but the guidance is true. Those feelings where things are closing out, those feelings where relationships that aren't working, we need to honor the guidance that's coming through. I don't know that I finished that in the early part when I was reviewing the bigger picture, but I have referenced several times this year so far that I really faced a crossroads in the first of the year of, certainly the illness that I had, but also it was timed with a crossroads of decisions of something I had invested time, energy, resources, even finances into. But when you're in process of something you thought was for you, when you're in process of a relationship that you feel like should be working, that maybe the qualities of the relationship, if you put it down on paper, it should be a good match. And yet the frequencies sometimes reveal to you a different reality, that it's not a good match, no matter how many pros you can see on paper, that there's enough cons that is at a frequency level foundationally not going to go the distance in a true God creation. I'm using the example of a relationship, but it can be anything. It can be a job. It can be an idea. It can be what you thought your soul skills were for in terms of a divine mission. And there's a pivot that happens, a fork in the road. We face the threshold guardians that Dr. Paul Panzika talks about. And sometimes in facing those threshold guardians, it puts you on a whole different timeline altogether than you ever expected. So we need to trust the light that shines so true from within that inner beacon. It burns inside and is leading us, right? Through the storms around us and when the skies look so gray, and finding humility in all of that. So yeah, I think we are in a time where we may be disappearing our own roads, paths, relationships that we've had or built or thought they were going to last the test of time in these times, and some of them won't. And admitting that to ourselves allows us to embrace a whole different level of prana and life force and creativity that we didn't know was inside us. And I am in the process of rebuilding. I am in the process of recalibrating. And I am in the process of reclaiming and recreating on this whole new trajectory that I just couldn't see 4 or 5 months ago. So I just want to share that in case any of you listening are going through some kind of alchemical process, right? The melting down of the old and then the building of the new. It is glorious and it is meant to be golden, but I think we need to trust the light that shines from within, that knows bigger than any ego infiltration into our soul purpose and soul mission that we might otherwise have bought into. So, okay, we're going to listen to song number 3, Living Beyond Belief.
The drums of truth are calling near. Through misty trails we persevere. A light within begins to glow. Through ancient winds we come to know. Living beyond what eyes can see, we're boundless as the wild oak tree. Divine spirits, we've come alive. With perfect essence we survive. The river song speaks to our soul. It whispers secrets, makes us whole. Through deeper knowing we arise and cast away the veils of lies. Living beyond what eyes can see, we're boundless as the wild oak tree. Divine spirits, we've come alive. With perfect essence we survive. Remember who you've always been. A force of life that lies within. This time was planned, this moment's fate. Your heart's the key to unlock the gates. Living beyond what eyes can see, we're boundless as the wild oak tree. Divine spirits, we've come alive. With perfect essence we survive.
What a beautiful song. I love the energy of living beyond belief. It's calling us deep into the knowing. Knowing is a whole other frequency beyond belief. And I love the chorus to the song, living beyond what eyes can see, we're boundless as the wild oak tree. Divine spirits, we've come alive with perfect essence. We survive, and I would add that we're here to thrive, right? The river song speaks to our soul. It whispers secrets, makes us whole. Through deeper knowing we arise and cast away the veils of lies, right? We are shedding the illusions big time. And I love that reference to the river song speaks to our soul. That's the mother. Terry talked all about gathering at the river. For centuries, women especially would gather at the river and share all that what they were growing through and learning and experiencing. And it was rich, this connection with the divine feminine, with the mother. And so I feel that the river song speaking to our soul, the garden is calling us to live beyond belief, right? To remember who we've always been. The light inside us knows the light and the life force and the soul essence that we've always been. We just have to allow it in. That's what this time is all about. Okay, the next song is called The Dawn of Return.
Searching
serpents whispered lies in the garden of green. Shadows danced where innocence had been. Adam's heart broke as the winds did cry. Eve's tears fell as stars lit the sky. Oh, the storm did rage, but hope still grew. Through tears of sorrow, a light broke through. From the seed of pain, new life was born. On the edge of endings rose the morn. Cain's anger struck where the trust did dwell. A brother's blood sang the earth's dark spell. Yet whispers of grace in the echo stayed. Through the clash of love and anger they played. But here now stands a woven thread from broken ashes where fears were fed. Eve returns with hands that heal. A unity's dawn we begin to feel. Oh, the storm did rage, but hope still grew. Through the tears of sorrow, a light broke through. From the seed of pain, new life was born. On the edge of endings rose the morn. Good and evil dance through time's vast weave. Never parted, fully always deceived. Yet hearts remember the path untrue. Together we'll mend what we always knew. Good and evil dance through time's vast weave. Never parted, fully always deceived. Yet hearts remember the path untrue. Together we'll mend what we always knew.
Wow, the dawn of return, definitely reflecting on the Adam and Eve story, even mentioning Cain and Abel, where they were in this perfect garden. The lyrics start with serpents whispered lies in the garden of green, shadows danced where innocence had been. Adam's heart broke, Eve's tears fell, essentially. Oh, the storm did rage, but hope still grew. Through the tears of sorrow, a light broke through. From the seed of pain, new life was born. On the edge of endings rose the morn. There is always a dawn of a new day. After all that we've experienced in this grand illusion of time, right? We are in this time where the light and hope and joy and love of Source and the Great Mother are returning. And so good and evil have danced through time's vast weave. And here we are, remembering the illusions now, seeing them more for what they are in the great shakings we're seeing unfolding on our planet, in our world, and maybe in our personal lives. And together, we're mending what we've always known. We're in the return. We're at the dawn of return. Beautiful, beautiful song, beautiful messages. Okay, here's the next one called Return to the Garden.
Eve stands beneath the silver skies. Her gaze is soft but oh so wise. She whispers truth we long forgot. Her voice a guide we've always sought. Her hands are strong, they hold the seeds of sacred life, of ancient deeds. She calls us back from where we roam, to find the garden, to find our home. Oh, Eve, our mother, our sacred light, you mend our vision, restore our sight, through every shadow, through every tear. You lead us closer, you draw us
Wow, that song, the melodies, there's something that for me speaks right through the heart, right to the soul, spirit, soul, essence inside me. I remember. It makes me say, I remember the garden. I remember. I wonder if you really resonated with that song. I'm going to read the lyrics in these first 4 stanzas that are so important. Eve stands beneath the silver skies. Her gaze is soft, but oh so wise. She whispers truths we long forgot. Her voice a guide we've always sought. Her hands are strong, they hold the seeds of sacred life, of ancient deeds. She calls us back from where we roam, to find the garden, to find our home. O Eve, our mother, our sacred light, you mend our vision, restore our sight. Through every shadow, through every tear, you lead us closer, you draw us near. The garden waits beyond the pain, its gates unopened, drenched by rain. But Eve, she stands with all her grace, teaching us love through time and space, right? O Eve, our mother, our sacred light, you mend our vision, restore our sight. Through every shadow, through every tear, you lead us closer, you draw us near. That is a stanza that was left out in the rendering of that song file, but there's so much beautiful energy. It's like a garden song unto itself. It's like the richness of a whole garden in the messages. She's speaking to our souls. This is soul language. This is a frequency of the garden, speaking to the garden in you. These songs are not, you can't see my air quotes, just songs. They are so much more. They're a frequency. And if you resonate, I'm so glad that you're here listening. And I'm so glad that you're in the return with me. And I'm going to keep bringing through messages about our return to the garden, because ultimately I believe that this is what the ascension is. This is what the ascension is. It's the garden, and the garden is ready to flourish, to bloom at a whole new level. With all the skill sets we have gleaned in the journeys, we're going to raise a whole other level of creation and collaboration and cooperation and co-creation and innovation. Our lives are about to get so much easier, but we're in the process of the old dismantling and the new birthing. So it's a grand labor. It's a grand birthing process happening simultaneously. So if we can stay in the energies of the garden, we can feel fortified in a way that many who are not tapped into these frequencies and this resonance may not feel and may experience more struggle, right? Okay, the next song is called The Garden is Home.
Creativity sparked in the twilight hour. A flame inside us is our greatest power. Since we left the garden, we've been on this trail. But the truth within us says we shall not fail. Time travelers leaping through celestial streams, with hearts on fire and unbroken dreams. 2025, the hour to ignite the divine within us, shining through the night. We are not lost, the garden's in our veins. It whispers soft through the joy and the pain. Home is the spark, the seed we've sown. The garden is ours, it's where we've formed, we craft through strife. Carriers of light, we give birth to life. The hero's call in us does ring. Creation song through the skies we sing. Through storms of doubt, we find the way. Through shadows cast, the light will stay. We are the ones, strong, bold, and free. Boundless potential, infinity. We are not lost, the garden's in our veins. It whispers soft through the joy and the pain. Home is the spark, the seed we've sown. The garden is ours, it's where we've grown. Where we've grown.
Wow. I love that. I love the colors and what generated there. The blue and green, the garden is home, very Mother Earth frequencies. So I love this. Creativity sparked in the twilight hour, a flame inside us is our greatest power. Since we left the garden, we've been on this trail, but the truth within us says we shall not fail. Time travelers leaping through celestial streams, that's us. With hearts on fire and unbroken dreams, that's us. 2025, the hour to ignite, that's us. The divine within us shining through the night, that's us. We are not lost. The garden's in our veins. It's in our DNA. It's in our hearts. It whispers soft through the joy and the pain. Home is the spark, the seed we've sown. The garden is ours. It's where we've grown. We've grown in this very matrixy 3D serpentine garden. The lessons are ours to glean and take with us. But that doesn't mean our consciousness and our frequency needs to maintain this density that we've been living in. The time is to shed the density and to enter the creativity, that creative divine hero inside us that has the map within as a frequency, that has access to the divine feminine, the all-knowing of the all-knowing, the connection with all sentient life in creation. We have had that template of the true garden within us the whole time. We can't really get lost. And now is the time not to be lost, but to shed the belief in lostness and to know our way home. To know our way home. The garden is ours. We've sown our own seeds, which are the clues and the breadcrumbs for the pathway home. That's why we want to follow our inner threads, our inner inspiration of creativity now. It's going to lead us all the way back to the garden. Okay, the next song, I have 4 more. The next song is The Garden Awaits.
Children of earth and sky, bound by the roots where dreams can't die. The whispers call in the evening's glow, a garden hidden where waters flow. What you are seeking is seeking you. The light is shining and breaking through. The garden calls, will you heed the song? Come back to the place where we all belong. The ancient soil remembers your name. A fire within ignites the flame. The winds of change are here to weave a home for the sons and daughters of Eve. What you are seeking is seeking you. The light is shining and breaking through. The garden calls, will you heed the song? Come back to the place where we all belong. The trees stretch out and the rivers hum, an endless story where we are from. The path ahead may rise and bend, but the garden waits where all paths end. What you are seeking is seeking you. The light is shining
wonderful, isn't it? The garden awaits. That song singing of basically the children of earth and sky, right? Source and the great mother. The ancient soil remembers your name. A fire within ignites the flame. The winds of change are here to weave a home for the sons and daughters of Eve. What you are seeking is seeking you. The light is shining and breaking through. The garden calls. Will you heed the song? Come back to the place where we all belong. And I love this one. The trees stretch out and the rivers hum, an endless story where we are from. The path ahead may rise and bend, but the garden waits where all paths end. I feel like the garden is the place where all timelines converge, all souls return, right? It's a frequency thing. It's a frequency thing. So we want to be doing the inner work to release density, release those fear tethers, programs, wounds, traumas. I'm doing the same inner work. I still have my own work cut out for me, but I do it on a regular basis. And when something uncomfortable comes up for me, I make time. If it's not appropriate in the moment to turn to it, I make it a point to go back and acknowledge and sometimes just sit with what's coming up for me, what's uncomfortable, what I found frustrating or irritating. You know, I'm a fire sign, so I can be very calm, but if something pokes at that fire, you know, I have to work with that. And fire is creativity. It's ignition. It's inspiration. It's expression. It's all those wonderful things. And then for me, fire also can show up in irritation and frustration, maybe impatience. Impatience was something a long time ago. I think I have a lot more patience now. But anyway, there's all different aspects of the earth elements that we all can tap into, and we all have access to one or two that are a little bit more prevalent in our soul's expression based on our astrology and all of that. So we all have our work to do to take a look at what is our unique pattern of density. What are the ways that density converges inside us to create a little bit of a perfect storm in our responses and reactions to things? That's our work to release that density, because you know what? What the garden awaits. It's a frequency thing. It is listening and trusting and knowing who we are. The codes are laid within, the seeds are within us. We just have to turn to the garden again and again and again and know it as home, and know that Eve is calling us home and guiding us home. So beautiful. Okay, the next song is called Eve's Calling. Let's have a listen.
Eve whispers soft through winds that sigh. We trace her path beneath the sky. The serpent's song has led us here, through shadows deep to dreams made clear. Oh, divine spark in hearts that yearn. Eve is seeding our return. The garden calls its gathering. seeding our return. The garden calls, its gates swing wide. We find our way with stars as guides.
Beautiful. Eve's calling. Are you feeling called? Are you feeling these frequencies summoning the higher light in you to step forward beyond the robes of density that we've been wearing, the costumes, the beliefs in the illusion that we have to learn through density? That is the trick. That is the contract with the serpent. It's Eve calling us home. It's time to go home. It's time to return to the garden. It's time to return to the garden where light reigns again, right? I'm just going to read these few lyrics. I like this one. The serpent's song has led us here. We answered the call of the serpent through the Adam's and Eve's archetypal frequencies inside us, right? Through shadows deep to dreams made clear. We've entered the shadows deep, the density, the grand illusions, and all the deep entanglement and incarceration that exists in a 3D matrix. But we're rising to listen to those dreams made clear. They're speaking through our divine creative hero. Oh, divine spark in hearts that yearn, Eve is seeding our return. The garden calls, its gates swing wide. We find our way with stars as guides, right? And then the echoes ring from ancient days through broken lands and winding ways. Her voice, her frequency, her light, a lantern bright and true. It pulls us home. It pulls us through. Remember this, whatever you're journeying in your own ascension path, in your own experience of allowing what is not aligned for your soul's path and for humanity's greater good. When those two things are true, whatever is calling and summoning you, however that's expressing, know that Eve is seeding your return in these songs, in these messages. However you connect to the garden, however you feel your creative essence. This is second chakra. This is that sexual chakra, all of that life force, all of that creativity. It hasn't just been sexual energy for procreation or the way many on this planet disperse those frequencies and don't channel that into soul mission, right? That can be part of the distraction as well. That life force, that libido, that energy is meant for you and for the gifts that you brought through for this mission, which is to restore and reset and return this planet to the garden. And it happens on an individual basis first. It happens here at home in the garden in you. And Eve is calling us to the truth about you. About you. Okay, 2 more songs. The next song is called The Return of Eve.
Through shadows cast by doubt's great weight, a whisper soft unlocks the gate. The sacred path her steps have drawn, guided by stars till darkest dawn. She is the light in skies of gray. The silence sings where fears betray. Her voice the echo heart still yearn. Oh, the time of Eve's return. Her strength, it weaves like threads of gold through storms that cures. She's the warmth when skies do burn, the faith we seek when lost and turned. Her spirit blazes hearts to churn. Oh, the time of Eve's return. The unknown bows beneath her gaze, unfolds the truth, parts misty haze. She walks with grace through paths untamed, her wisdom's light forever famed. She is the light of us reborn, the hope that soothes where hearts are torn. With every step, our spirits learn. Oh, the time of Eve's return.
That is a song that speaks to my soul. I wonder how you experienced the lyrics and the frequencies and the melodies in that song. There's some frequency of remembrance in these songs. I wonder if you can feel it too. I love all of these lyrics, but I really want to focus. The choruses in this song are different. It's not the same refrain. And the first one is, she is the light in skies of gray. The silence sings where fears betray. Her voice the echo, hearts still yearn. Oh, the time of Eve's return. Her strength it weaves like threads of gold, through storms that rage, through nights so cold. The sacred feminine endures. In every wound her touch she cures. She's the warmth when skies do burn, the faith we seek when lost and turned. Her spirit blazes hearts to churn. Oh, the time of Eve's return. The unknown bows beneath her gaze, unfolds the truth, parts misty haze. She walks with grace through paths untamed, her wisdom's light forever famed. She is the light of us reborn, the hope that soothes where hearts are torn. With every step our spirits learn, oh, the time of Eve's return. What I felt when I was listening to this song with you right now, here, today, is Eve, the divine feminine, the right brain that's connected to the all-knowing heart, the sentience that lives inside us, that knows all time and all space, past, present, future. Who would create our way into this realm of 3D density and darkness and illusion and trickery and deception? Someone who knows the truth in all time. Someone who knew the full circle journey we would all take so we could have this experience of soul expansion through learning in a web and realm of lies and deception and creative power in separation from source. Who would trust all of that? Who? Eve. Eve, the essence of the divine feminine, the daughter of the great mother, the physical form's reflection of the great mother's energy who knows all things in all realms, in all ways, forever and ever and ever. Eve, ever, eternal, Eve, right? There's something so brilliant about this whole divine design. I know many of us can question, how did I get here? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? How many times do I have to be on this karmic loop? Whatever these patterns are that we see from every single angle, and have to master these soul skills again and again when we're already spiritual and ascended masters already. There's something that takes us back to the garden, that restores faith inside us, that resets inside us a love of Eve, a love of the garden, a love and appreciation for the Great Mother, that has the knowings that we all know inside us, but they've been knowing for us all this time. It's why Eve is calling us home. Adam has his role in all of this, is the structure, is the builder, is the data processor, is all of these other things, but Eve is the knower. Eve is the mother. Eve is awareness through all time and space. Why are we returning to Eve? Because we are returning to sentient consciousness. We're returning to gnosis. We are returning to oneness with all there is, with all of it. Eve knew this cycle. We know through Eve the perfection in the cycle. Where are we in the cycle? In the great return. Who knows the great return? Eve. She knew we would make the great return. Who do we want to tap into? Who do we want to call into our life experience? Who is going to help us remember the garden? Eve. Eve. Okay, last song. Back to the garden, of course. Back to the garden. Let's have a listen.
There's a spark in the dark that's waiting to grow. A seed in the soil where dreams overflow. Paint your heart on the canvas of the skies. It's time to awaken. It's time to rise. Let the heroes come alive tonight. With the fire of the stars taking flight. The map inside will guide our hand back to the garden where we'll stand. Creation whispers through a clouded mind. Answers buried in the threads we unwind. Pick up the pieces, shape the broken clay. The dawn's waiting to carry us away. Let the heroes come alive tonight. With the fire of the stars taking flight. The map inside will guide our hand back to the garden where we'll stand. Salvation's written in the palms we hold, in the ink of dreams that fuse to grow cold. Sing your truth, let your courage shine. The divine is a mirror and it's time. Let the heroes come alive tonight. With the fire of the stars taking flight. The map inside will guide
A brilliant song to close out this song session with you, Back to the Garden. I love these lyrics. Sing your truth, let your courage shine. The divine is a mirror and it's time. Let the heroes come alive tonight with the fire of the stars taking flight. The map inside will guide our hand back to the garden where we'll stand. In our truth, in our eternal essence, in the truth of who we really are, right? Who's leading us back to the garden? Eve. Eve led us into the garden, trusting that full circle journey for many thousands of years, knowing that we would reach this point in the cycle, in the circle of life here in this realm, to return back to the garden. It's the call. It's the divine creative hero's call to return to the garden, right? It's part of the hero's journey that I'm working to put together and bring forth for you. It lays the foundation for my musical, The Color, the Magic musical that is in process. So many creative projects are in process that I'm working on right now because they're all part of the seeds that lead us where? Back to the garden. So I'm so grateful that you spent this time with me. I was feeling in this last song, Back to the Garden, one of the reasons, and it's not a cognitive thought I've had, it's a feeling. Eve is the divine feminine. The divine feminine has been under attack for centuries and centuries and centuries of time. Why? Well, for so many reasons that I probably can't even go into in these last few minutes of this video. But it's the feminine that was always going to lead us back. Not the masculine. It's the feminine that has access to the all-knowing heart through time and space. It was always going to be Eve. How about Mother Mary, judged, persecuted in her own ways? How about Mary Magdalene? They needed to soil and trash the brilliance and radiance of her soul gifts, of her mastery, standing next to Yeshua, right? They were the divine feminine, divine masculine. Who got attacked? Both of them. But the sacred feminine has had a special place in the warfare, right, on women, on the sacred feminine, because that is what the serpent has to tamp down. She got the bad rap for listening to the serpent. It was the serpent. But Eve gets the bad rap for listening, as if it was all her fault and not somehow a bigger collective dream, right? And who now deserves the credit for leading us back to the garden, the divine feminine, more than anything. And then looking in history of the divine feminine that has been so heavily suppressed, hijacked, attacked, and all those negative, dense frequencies we know exist here in this realm. So I love how Eve is returning through these songs, right? Through music, through the music in your heart, the music in your soul that knows the truth of Eve's return, that knows the truth of Eve's invitations to return, the call back to the garden. So I hope these songs have inspired you. I will be releasing this latest playlist. Maybe sometime soon I'll put together a master playlist where all the songs related to Eve in the garden, because it would be bigger than just this set of 10 songs. We'll see if I can get to that. But for now, you'll have this set of 10 songs, and many of the other playlists that I have also have songs about the garden. If you've been listening, you'll know that I have a lot of songs about Eve and the garden and Adam and the serpent and all of these things and the grand return. So before I close this out, I'm just going to put on the screen for just a moment in the message for today about the garden insights, right? The garden's insights. There's reference to Dream Seeds Awakening. Just know that that is a soul song that you can listen to. You can still listen to it on my website at frequencywriter.com, but I am in the process of transitioning frequencywriter.com over to Substack. And you can find that at frequencywriter.substack.com. But here are some of the core lyrics. We are the dream seeds of this new earth. We are the magic flowering this new birth. We are the heart visions that unite. We are the joy gifts and true delight. For we know in our hearts that Source dreamed us to be the great light the pure vision of our divinity. And it's time to remember how we each came to be, to give wings to our seeds and set them free. That dream seed song is another map, another frequency, another soul song that speaks to our return to the garden. That was a song that I wrote in 2012. And so you can listen to that on a Frequency Writer flashback on Substack. So you can find it there as well. And then I don't think I really need to spend much time on this. Maybe I'll revisit this another time. But just remember, if there are triggers in your life on the return trip to the garden, we're all having things flush to the surface now. It's part of these times. If we don't get distracted and consumed by the negative frequencies the trauma triggers induce or infuse in us, we can remember the 1, 2, 3 steps of quantum creation. We first take a breath, a conscious breath for the trigger, and we just breathe and we hold and we breathe and we exhale and we honor the frequencies of the trigger. We honor the wounds coming up to our souls and our conscious awareness. When you're ready, you can take a second breath and you move into another frequency, another octave. You take that conscious breath to move into sacred neutrality when you're ready. And you breathe in sacred neutrality for as long as you need to be there, aware of the trigger that you just felt, not trying to dismiss it, shove it under a rug, destroy it, attack it, ignore it, none of those things. You just already know the trigger. You're now breathing in sacred neutrality about that trigger. You're held in a suspended grace, in a hammock of grace, cradle of grace by Source and the Great Mother. And when you calm and you are still and you are in balance and you're back in a state of neutral harmony, you take a third conscious breath to move into conscious creation and co-creation with Source of what you want to create next out of that experience, with the full support of your conscious breathing with Source, in union with Source, with God and the Great Mother. What do you want to create moving forward? So it's a powerful reminder in these times, because we have these soul skills, especially people who've been listening to this channel for a long time, who's listened to a lot of the frequency writings and my messages over the years. Okay, so with that, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for spending time with me today. I want to invite you to join my Substack page, frequencywriter.substack.com. I, as you know, am in the process of moving those older Frequency Writer messages and some of the videos into a shiny new form and format on my Substack page. Eventually, this whole original collection and inspirational messages will all be on the Substack page, all in one place, archived there. But join me on Substack, and please subscribe and share with your friends, anybody who's seeking this form of frequency inspiration. You can go to my frequencywriter.com website. I think that'll be active till the summer, like sometime in July. It still currently has my Shine Your Light ebook series and my Freeing an Incarcerated World film trailer. Again, if you are seeking my new blog posts, podcasts, or videos like current things, you're going to want to find me on Substack at frequencywritersubstack.com or on Color the Magic or other social media platforms like Rumble. And then I also invite you to check out Whole Soul School and Foundation. There's a lot of beautiful podcasts archived there about the hero's journey, really following the teachings of Joseph Campbell. But there's a lot of great messengers, a lot of people who've lived the hero's journey, and a lot of wisdom shared there. So I invite you to go to wholesoulschoolandfoundation.org, the actual website, and there you can see the categories of podcasts and listen to what resonates for you. I invite you to find me on Rumble, X.com, Truth Social, Telegram, also Spotify, iTunes, if you prefer to listen to the audio streaming. And I invite you to please subscribe to this channel, whatever platform you're listening to, and please share this video with people who can benefit from it. And I thank you for visiting with me in the garden with Eve, with the Great Mother until the end. And look for me posting that playlist of the new songs. Look for me posting that video of Garden Insights. I'll post that as a separate video as well, so you can tap into that anytime you'd like. And I will see you again soon in June for more inspirational podcast messages and musings about the garden, and I'm about to post that last podcast with Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker, one of the last conversations maybe she had to publicly share. And also, I have a podcast coming with Dr. Paul Panzica about the robe of glory. So stay tuned for that as well. Blessings, and I hope you journey with sunshine and light and garden frequencies with the Earth Mother, with the Great Mother, and with Eve, our Eternal Mother as well. And until next time, I send you blessings and light for the journey. Bye for now.